JBNN keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones, and in the news, police probe link between shooting and cop found hiding in bushes. The police are trying to determine if there is a link between the injury of a man and four men, including a cop, who were detained in Jupen District, Bog Walk, St. Catherine on Thursday night. The man, a 24-year-old construction worker, was shot and injured in the said location, where police investigated explosions and later detained a constable seen hiding in bushes. The police reports indicated that the incidents occurred at around the same time. It was reported that around 7:50 p.m., the construction worker was walking along the roadway when he was approached by gunmen who opened fire at him, hitting him in the upper body. He ran off and hid himself. The police said the man contacted a nearby associate who came and saw him near a church along the roadway holding on to his stomach. He informed his associate that he was shot and injured by unknown assailants and was assisted to hospital, where he was treated and admitted. Police are probing if those were the explosions residents reported when they went to the area to investigate and found the cop. During their checks, they reportedly observed spent shells on the road, and the policeman was seen hiding in bushes. He identified himself and stated that he was attached to the Spanish Town police station. The constable told police he and three friends drove to the area to conduct a motor vehicle transactions when they heard gunshots, and he hid in bushes while his friends drove away in his car. The friends later drove the cop's car to the Bogwalk police station, where the constable was taken. A search of the Honda-Fit motor car yielded more than 100 rounds of ammunition. The policeman is not a licensed firearm holder, nor does he have a permit. 17-year-old boy arrested in Antigang operation. A 17-year-old boy linked to the Captureland gang operating in sections of St. Andrew South Police Division was apprehended during an operation conducted by members of the Joint Antigang Task Force on Trinidad Road in Waterhouse, St. Andrew on Thursday. The police say the teen, who was wanted for wounding with intent, is believed to be a top-tier member of the gang, which is responsible for several major crimes in St. Andrew South. According to the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the task force is targeting a number of criminal organizations in St. Andrew South and other hotspots across the island. Woman charged in connection with St. James gun and ammunition seizure. The police have charged one of the women arrested in connection with a gun and ammunition seizure during a joint anti-gang task force operation in Green Pond, St. James on Thursday. 48-year-old entrepreneur Cheryl Malcolm of Green Heights Mills, Green Pond, is charged with several offences, including stockpiling of prohibited weapons, dealing in prohibited weapons, and the 16 counts of possession of prohibited weapons. She is also charged with unauthorized possession of ammunition, possession of assorted parts of firearms, and unauthorized use of premises for storage of firearms and ammunition. The police say about 4:30 a.m. on Thursday, lawmen were in the Green Heights Mills when a premises that was occupied by Malcolm was searched. They say during the search, 3 rifles, 2 pistols, and 466 assorted rounds of ammunition were found in her possession. Malcolm was subsequently taken into custody and later charged. Her court date is being finalized. The police had reported that another woman and a man were arrested during Thursday's operation. Issa suing state for violation of her privacy. Amoylian Issa, the mother of 9-year-old Gabriel King, was viciously murdered last January, wants the Supreme Court to find that the state breached her rights to privacy when the parish court judge granted permission to the police to search her cell phone. The claimant also wants the High Court to determine whether the production order granted by the judge was necessary and demonstrably justified. Issa, who is suing the state for continued violation of her privacy rights, as well as her right to informational privacy, is also seeking to have the judge order squashed and several declarations deeming different aspects of the judge's order unconstitutional. She also wants vindicatory damages. The claimant filed the lawsuit after St. James Parish Court Judge Sasha Ashley granted a production order to Constable Julian Fraser last September for Issa to provide the phone's passcode to facilitate access to data as part of the police investigation into her son's murder. Fraser is named in the claim as the first defendant. The police commissioner is the second, while the judge is listed as third and the attorney general is fourth. The child, who was developmentally challenged, was reportedly abducted from his mother's car along the Tucker Main Road in St. James on January 13 after assailants reportedly dragged her from her motor car and took the vehicle with the child still in the back seat. King's body was subsequently found on the back seat of the vehicle in Fairfield, St. James, with his throat slashed. Issa's phone, which he had given to her son to use before the incident, was also found beside the boy's body and was seized. The production order was therefore granted by the parish judge after an ex parte application, which is an application heard in the absence of one of the parties. The order was for Issa to produce a passcode to the phone and in intelligible form any communication data, cell site data, and other data contained on the phone for the purpose of the criminal investigation. Yesterday, during the hearing in the full court before Justices Lorna Shelley Williams, Simone Wolf-Rees, and Andrew Pettigrew Collins, Attorney Chukwuemeka Cameron argued that the production order restricted his client's right to privacy and the right to information privacy as it granted the police permission to access her personal information. It's the claimant's case that in applying for a production order and in granting a production order in circumstances wherein compliant with the order would give an untold number of persons for an indefinite period of time access to all the personal data and information contained on the mobile phone of the claimant is without doubt a restriction of her right to privacy, he added. Pointing to Section 21 of the Cybercrimes Act, which sanctions the production order, Cameron argued that under the law, the data which is requested must be specified as well as the time period. Cameron also argued that the state could have pursued a less restrictive measure to access the data which is being sought. Instead of using the Cybercrimes Act, Cameron said the police could have used the Interception of Communications Act to compel the relevant telecommunications company to produce the data that they are seeking. He also advanced that the judge's order for the production of cell site data, which the police later conceded, could not be ascertained from the phone, further evidenced the breach, as the judge had made an order which was impossible for his client to fulfill. Cameron, while underscoring that every citizen has a right to privacy, indicated at the same time, we must also accept that no state organ can restrict that right unless it is demonstrably justified. In this regard, he averred that the court now needs to determine whether it was necessary and demonstrably justified for the parish judge to have restricted his client's right to privacy. It is not sufficient for the judge to say she satisfies herself, he added. In the meantime, Cameron said his client was always concerned about her privacy and through her former attorney had written a letter to the police last September expressing her concerns while indicating that she was prepared to give the police access provided that her privacy rights were not breached. Without question, in today's age, there are few things that could be considered more private than one's cell phone. Mrs. Issa is guaranteed the right to keep her personal life private, especially when it comes to her personal phone. For a member of the public like the complainant, who is not involved in any criminal activity, it is reasonable to believe that their phone, which contains such intimate details of their life, will be safe from arbitrary search, Cameron submitted. Cameron will complete his submission when the matter resumes next Friday. Both parties in the meantime were ordered by the judges to make submissions on public interest immunity. Meanwhile, as it relates to the production order, Issa has been ordered by the court to comply with the order by month end after the Supreme Court ruled against her in a judicial review that was sought for the order, which was varied to provide certain safeguards and protects information concerning third parties not associated with the investigations. 70 motorcyclists killed in 70 fatal crashes this year, says RSU. Some 70 motorcyclists have been killed in 70 fatal motorcycle crashes since the start of the year, according to the latest statistics released on Friday by the Road Safety Unit RSU. Among the 70 are 4 who were killed during the 7-week period, which ended on Friday, July 14. A total of 6 people were killed during the course of the last week. The others were the 23-year-old driver of a private motor car and a 45-year-old female pedestrian. The latest victims have pushed to 216, the number of people who have perished in motor vehicle crashes since the start of the year. The deaths have resulted from 198 fatal crashes. The RSU is also reporting that 32 private motor car drivers were killed in 32 fatal crashes up to Friday, July 14. 49 pedestrians were killed in 49 fatal pedestrian crashes, and 15 pedal cyclists were killed in 15 fatal pedal cyclist crashes up to July 14. Meanwhile, The RSU said that since January 1, there have been 14 multiple fatal collisions on the nation's roads, which have resulted in 31 deaths. On the bright side, fatal crashes have decreased by 15% since the start of the year, while fatalities are down 18% when compared with the similar period in 2022. Up to July 14, males and females accounted for 91% and 9% respectively of the road fatalities recorded in Jamaica this year. PM urges patience with work on the Southern Coastal Highway project. As work continues to complete sections of the Harborview to Port Antonio leg of the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project, Prime Minister Andrew Holness is urging residents and commuters who have been inconvenienced to be patient.
There is a narrative said by some that the government doesn't care about the people in the parish. That could not be further from the truth. The government could have decided to not use the current alignment and go and build a road in the hill and bypass where the people live. But instead, we decided that let's bring the infrastructure to the people, because the people are going to be the beneficiary of better water supply, better internet, better roads, greater economic possibilities in housing and industry that is coming. And we didn't just build a road, we also developed the Morant Bay Urban Center, which is now under construction. It is a well thought out, comprehensive development plan for the people of St. Thomas and Portland, two of the parishes in Jamaica where successive governments and previous administrations have not seen it fit to invest in those parishes. Yes, it comes with dislocation, and I am the first to say that much better could be done in terms of ensuring the control of dust, allowing persons to enter their property safely, and keeping one lane at least in a drivable condition while the other is worked on. I know that the various contractors and supervisors have made attempt to do that, but they have not been consistent so in doing. So I have given directives now that the management of the South Coast Road Improvement Project, particularly the section from Harborview right into Port Antonio, must fall under the direct management and daily supervision of the head of the NWA. I myself have taken a more direct involvement in it. Today I met with the ambassador of China, where we discussed other infrastructural issues, and I raised with them the need for this project to be completed as quickly as possible. So I am expecting that there will be greater speed and alacrity in the completion of the project. But I still urge our Jamaican citizens, particularly those who live and traverse the area of St. Thomas and Portland, to bear in mind the great complexity of the project that is being undertaken, and the fact is that there is no alternate route that could be used. So I ask our Jamaican citizens and the residents of Portland and St. Thomas to pardon the progress. Ultimately, you will be the beneficiary of this new development.
The Harborview to Port Antonio leg of the project spans the parishes of St. Andrew, St. Thomas and Portland, and incorporates the communities of Bull Bay, Mexgar Gardens, Albion, Yalos, Morant Bay, Seaforth, Cedar Valley, Port Morant, Golden Grove, Hector's River, Boston and Port Antonio. The multi-billion-dollar project is being executed in three parts. Part A, Maypen to Williams Field, 28 kilometers. Part B, Harborview to Yalos Bridge, 17.4 kilometers, and Part B 2 and 3, Yalos Bridge to Port Antonio and Morant Bay to Cedar Valley, 123.65 kilometers. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.